Hey, Mike, when you're playing poker, when do you hold them?
Um, when I have a good hand.
In the early part of the game, when do you fold them?
When I have a bad hand.
In the middle part of the game, when do you walk away or run?
When I'm broke.
When it's late. We're talking early, middle, and late round targets in Yahoo and ESPN.com. This is the Wide Receiver Show. Producer. Welcome to the Fantasy Forecast with Grindberg and bigz. He is Grindberg. I am bigz. Nailed it! You're watching Fantasy Football Advice Network on YouTube, or you're already in the Fantasy Sports Advice Network app and you just clicked on our video. Welcome. Today we are talking about early, middle, and late round wide receiver targets in redraft leagues. We're helping you build a champion. If you're on Yahoo, if you're on ESPN, we have you covered. The first one I'm going to talk about is my early round target, and that would be Devonte Adams. Devonte Adams finished as wide receiver 10. He's being drafted in the second round. Or no, he finished in the back end of the teens last year. He's currently being drafted as wide receiver 10 in the second round. He had finishes of wide receiver 1, 2, and 3 from 2020 to 2022 with a cohesive offense and no turmoil. Also, Derek Carr was there. He can return to those heights with his target share. He's getting 160, 170 targets per year. And he had terrible quarterback play last year when Jimmy Garoppolo was there. We all watched the receiver special series on Netflix, and it was Jimmy Garoppolo throwing the ball to Devonte Adams, and the ball going nowhere near where Devonte Adams was running. So with terrible QB play, he was still a top 20 target or a top 20 fantasy guy. This year, he's in Luke Getsy's new offense. Luke Getsy's offense supported a wide receiver 6 finish for DJ Moore last year. So I am very, very in on Devonte Adams this year. He's going to be having Aiden O'Connell likely, or possibly Gardner Minshew throwing him the ball, but with a lot more weapons. So they're not going to be able to double team Devonte Adams, because then all of a sudden you got Brock Bowers, you got Trey Tucker running wind sprints. They're going to have options. So Devonte Adams is going to return to his normal level of production. My second one is a late round target, and this is a guy who just received news today that his game will be elevated because Rondale Moore just got hurt in Falcons camp. So I am looking at Darnell Mooney as the wide receiver 2 in Atlanta with new Falcons quarterback Kirk Cousins. Now, he's being drafted in the last round. He's the wide receiver 2 for Kirk Cousins. But remember, in 2021, Darnell Mooney had 140 targets and finished with over 1,000 yards. He was wide receiver 23. So we know that he can have a top 24 finish. Can you guess who was wide receiver 23 last season?
Drake London.
What?
I don't know.
So, target Mooney. Now we're going to move on to Mike, but first, do you want to join a vibrant community of like-minded fans, share draft strategies, discuss winning tactics, and dominate fantasy leagues together? Do you want to escape the noise and negativity of fantasy sports Twitter and Reddit? Say goodbye to bots and ads. Welcome to a space where genuine sports talk thrives. Immerse yourself in a new era of fantasy sports discussions where quality insights and pure enthusiasm reign supreme. Elevate your fantasy experience and join us on this exciting journey. Discover polls, league classifieds, tailor your feed with top-tier content from our creators, articles, videos, podcasts, all conveniently at your little fingertips. Boost your game with expert advice, earn points, receive rewards for your sports expertise. Your insights will make a real impact here at Fantasy Sports Advice Network. Go sign up today, get your pro account, and join a Jersey League. And with that, it's time for Mike.
bigz. That was awesome. You did that really well. You got me excited to join. And
You already
got me
joined.
I know I joined. Anyways, I'm going to talk about a early round target that you need to have on your squad in Yahoo
Please do.
leagues. And he's at the top of my list, and he should be at the top of yours. And that is Amari St. Brown, who's currently
he's
ranked
at the top of my list.
Yeah, he's currently ranked as the wide receiver 5 on Yahoo. So St. Brown is primed to even have a bigger breakout, I think, this year. Over the past 3 years, he's proven consistent, 90 receptions, going, for 112 receptions last year, actually, 1,300 yards and 9 touchdowns. His remarkable track record as a reliable production is he's going to finish as a wide receiver 1 for sure in 2024, unless he gets injured. Detroit Lions, nothing but they're a great offense, and we know that. He's got a 30% target share in that offense, and he's now 4-year, $120 million richer. So this solidifies his position there. He's well positioned to capitalize on these opportunities as well. His draft capital isn't going to cost you as much as Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, and he's going to give you just as much production. I say, if not more. I think I have him as my wide receiver 2 headed into this year, and I think he's just going to outperform his ADP, and I think you should have him on your lineup as a really safe option in those early rounds. Now, a later round guy I want you to keep your eye on, and he's a guy that's gaining steam in camp, and he's getting more notoriety around. I'm talking about Javon Baker, and it's a name that you're going to want to keep on your radar this year. He's currently ranked as wide receiver 84 on Yahoo. He's going under the radar. He's got the opportunity to be a top 48 wide receiver in my eyes. He's drafted by the New England Patriots in the 4th round. He's already started training camp with impressive catches, blazing speed. He's 6'1", 4.46 40-yard dash. His size and speed makes him a genuine threat, and he's in that offense, and he's the only one that could actually play that X receiver, and I think he's going to really impress. Currently, he's going to be, like I said, 84. He's going to smash his ADP this year, so don't overlook this potential breakout star. He could be a key in your later rounds to fantasy football success. Biggs, what do you think of Javon Baker? Do you have a similar outlook on him?
Let me put it this way. I am currently 3 picks away from my round 17 pick in a draft, and guess who's top of my queue right now?
Javon Baker.
Javon Baker. Thank you. Also, I do have an answer to my trivia question that I asked earlier. Given that Kirk Cousins is in Atlanta and Darnell Mooney is the wide receiver 2, who was last year's wide receiver 23? Jordan Addison. Anybody who answered that, you are correct. Darnell Mooney season. All right. Thank you, Mike. I'm going to get to my smart alert. I got a middle round target that I'm looking at. And I talked in our last episode about Brock Purdy and the possibility of Brandon Ayuk moving on to a different pasture. One of those, as of this recording, one of those options is the 49ers trading Ayuk to the Cleveland Browns for Amari Cooper. The drafts that I've been doing the last couple of days, I've been hitting Amari Cooper in the middle rounds as hard as I can. He is wide receiver 26. He finished last season as wide receiver 16. That was with an injury to Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco coming in later on, but some wonky quarterback play in the middle of the season. So he's either going to be playing for a fully healthy Deshaun Watson as his number 1 target, or he's going to be in San Francisco as a legitimate X receiver on the outside for Brock Purdy. I'm targeting Amari Cooper everywhere that I possibly can, and the value of wide receiver 26 possibly outplaying his ADP by a full round. If you're drafting him as wide receiver 26 and playing him, and he's a wide receiver 3 who is hitting wide receiver 2 numbers, that's an easy path to a championship. So smash Amari Cooper everywhere you can.
Yeah, that's a great call. I mean, and I think there was 5 games last year where either Joe Flacco or Deshaun Watson weren't playing. Those were the games he dipped quite hardened. And had either one of those guys starting, he probably would have finished as a top 12 wide receiver last year. So I really like that call. I think he's still got a lot left in the tank. And if he does end up getting traded, he'll be in a good offense either way. So I love your call there, Biggs. Now, my middle round target, who I'm also going to talk about as well, because we talked about early and late rounds. We both got our spotlight, and they're both middle round guys. And my top middle round target in Yahoo leagues, and I think he's going to blow past his ADP of wide receiver 24. And he's getting a lot of hype in camp. I know there's not a lot of storylines going on right now, but Malik Neighbors is making them right now. He's incredibly talented. Many people have him pegged as the top wide receiver in this draft, putting him ahead of Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm not sure I'm quite that far yet. They're pretty even. They're splitting hairs. They're, very different offenses, but Neighbors has checked a lot of boxes for me. 6 feet, 200 pounds, 4.35, 40-yard dash. He's got a great vertical jump. And his broad jump was, 10'9". So these are great stats, very comparable to Jamar Chase. During, the 2023, he lit up at LSU. He was a yak monster. He's likely to be a key player in this Giants offense. He's going to get a ton of targets. He could see upwards of 150 targets his rookie season. And if the Giants can impress and their defense is as strong as some people think they are, he could, be in a little bit more scoring positions than most people think they are, depending on how Daniel Jones can react. But even if Daniel Jones isn't, prolific, Neighbors is going to garner tons of targets, and he's easily going to get, 120 catches, I'd say, and probably over 1,000 yards. So that's huge value. Wide receiver 2 value. I have him cracking the top 15, and that's why he is a must draft for me in Yahoo leagues in 2024.
Love it. Love the pick. Love Malik Neighbors. He's my wide receiver 1 from the rookie class, even ahead of Marvin Harrison Jr. He is a must draft. Part of my scheming. I'm taking him in the second round everywhere, and I love it. All right. Thank you for joining us, you guys, for this wide receiver episode. Next. On the next episode of Fantasy Forecast, we will be giving you early, middle, and late round targets on running backs. So make sure that you subscribe, hit the bell, be here for our next episode. Also, go to FSAN and sign up for your pro account, enter a Jersey League. Follow me on Twitter at BigBonedFFB, him at FFConnect99, and Schultze at SCHU1, the number. TZY, and we will be back next time with running backs. We hope you win.
You win.